Today we're going to make this cute little snowman and gingerbread ornament. We're going to start with a piece of drop cloth. If you've never used drop cloth, I highly recommend it. I use drop cloth for a number of crafts. I get mine at Harbor Freight, but you could get it at Lowe's or Home Depot. I just happen to like the quality of Harbor Freight. Not that it's a better quality, actually it's a little thinner, but it's easier to work with. The template I'm using here is just a hamburger press. It just happens to be the size that I like to use. You could use a bowl or a large cup. I wouldn't recommend going much smaller than that. Anyway, here I'm cutting it out. I'm cutting out the shape of the circle. Now on my channel, which is brand new, I will be making a lot of rustic crafts, farmhouse or cottage styles. I do a lot of crafts for resale because I have a little store, and generally when I make these in like an assembly line, and they're very quick to make, and so it's just a really good a good item to profit from, because I really don't have much time and I have hardly any material in these. But here I'm gluing it together, and I'm using just regular hot glue. I'm not worrying with using fabric glue here, because they're not going to be washed. They're not going to go through a lot of wear and tear. So fabric glue is just really not necessary, and it's a little more expensive. So here I'm cutting off a piece of jute, and I'm going to fold it in half and tie a knot on the end, and that's going to serve as my hanger. Now, if you like this kind of content, I would really appreciate if you would subscribe and like. My channel needs help because it's brand new. But if this is what you like, this kind of content, then I really would appreciate it. Here I'm using just a regular plastic grocery bag. You could use, and a lot of times I do use fiber fill, or I take the stuffing out of an old pillow and stuff it. But I'm just showing you here that this really could be made with very little material. So here I'm going to glue it together and press it firmly to make sure that it sticks really well. Fabric is so easy to stick together, and once it's glued together, it's there. Like I said, if this is something that you enjoy doing, and you want to see more, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll see when I upload a new video. Right here, I am just painting the background. This is like a honey brown color. I actually just mixed this color. I had a honey colored faux art paint, but I ran out, and so here I've just mixed some brown, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of white to get this color. It wouldn't have to be precisely this color. I just felt like this had the look of gingerbread. So now I'm getting the blow dryer and blow drying it. Like I said, generally with these ornaments, I'll cut a bunch of them out, and then I'll glue them together, and then I'll go through and paint them all. So my paint has plenty of time to dry before I get to the step of painting the face and everything. But for time purposes here, I just blow dried it, and it's not completely dry. I just blow dried it enough to where I could handle it and I could paint this face without it bleeding into the brown. So here I am just painting little circles for the eyes and fill. These little faces are really easy to paint, and you know, after you've done it a while, you can change some of them up a little bit. This particular one is going to be a boy, but you could definitely add some eyelashes and make the cheeks rosier and make it a girl. But we're going to do this one as a boy. So now I'm dipping into the cream color, the off-white, and we're going to do that little scalloped edge. It's like a wavy edge that you see on a lot of the gingerbread, on a lot of the gingerbread men, where they take the icing and just kind of make that little wavy edge around the outside. And this doesn't have to be perfect at all, because we want it to look like a gingerbread man, and gingerbread men are made with icing, and you never see one that's perfect. It's just, we're just going for the look. And my crafts are very rustic. That's just how I like them. My customers seem to like them that way also. So we're just going to finish this little scalloped edge around the outside. It's very easy. It's the hardest part of this is, you know, when you're painting on fabric, that base coat of the brown does help a lot to seal it. But, you know, fabric is really thirsty. So as you can see, I'm dipping this paintbrush. It's a small paintbrush anyway. So I'm having to dip it pretty often into the cream color. And so I'm finishing up this scalloped edge. And so you just kind of make it meet there. You may have to go a little bit smaller on your last wave, but again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And we're going to be adding a little bow tie to that bottom anyway, so it's not a problem at all. Okay, so here I'm just taking my small brush and just making a few little lines there to make a small smiley face. Now, the step that I forgot in this video that I'll add later is there's little cheeks. I make 2 little rose-colored cheeks. Now here I'm dipping into the white and making a little dot in each eye to make the eye sparkle. I think that step is really important in giving it some personality. Okay, here I am dipping into the red. So I use red with just a touch of brown in it because I just don't like that bright red. So I just dip into the red and get mostly red, but put just a tiny bit of brown in with it, and it gives that nose more of a maroon, I guess, color instead of just that bright red. So now that takes care of the face, and I am going back here and putting just a little highlight on the top of the nose, just like with the eyes. That adds more character, and little steps like that make a big difference in your finished project. But anyway, so now I'm getting ready to make the bow tie. I personally just make a little simple bow tie, and I know a lot of you that are seasoned crafters may have your own way of making a bow tie, and if you do, then feel free to just make any kind of bow tie you want here. I'm just going to make a little simple folded piece of fabric. I'm folding it both ways, and cutting off the remainder. And then I'm just going to take some jute and tie around the center. I'm sure you've all made these little bows. It's just a quick, simple bow. And so I'm tying that around the center here, and then I'll clip that off, and it'll make a cute little bow to put on him. Now you could make this female and put the little bow on top, or on my next craft I have a little rag bow that I'll be making. And you could put a little rag bow on top. But I'm going to do this one male. And now I'll go back here and take a strip of fabric, smaller, and tie around that center just to hide that jute and make it look more like a bow tie. Here I'm just gluing down the sides to give it a finished edge, and then I'll fold that over and glue that to the center here. I just love these little gingerbread, and they sell really good for me. They're so cute on a tree with candy canes, and I know you've seen these trees where it's just there's lots of sweets on it. I decorated one last year like that, and it was so cute with these. I've even made these little things out of paper bag, or not necessarily paper bags, but out of craft paper, and it works just as well. It's just these, I feel like these have sold better for me than the ones that I did out of the craft paper. So anyway, here I am gluing that center, and then I'll glue that bow onto the bottom of the of my little gingerbread man. So I'm sorry that I'm out of frame here. I'm just gluing that together, and now I'll attach it with hot glue to the bottom of the ornament. And then this little ornament will be complete, except for adding those cheeks that we talked about that I'll add later. But isn't he so cute? He's just, he's adorable. And, you know, I've done this slowly for you, but it really is a very quick, especially when you're making a bunch of them. It's a very quick little ornament to make. There I'm just adding that little highlight on the nose. Okay, so now I've already, for the sake of time, made the ornament, stuffed it and everything ahead of time, and now I'm painting this ornament white. And you don't have to worry about covering this very well at all, because like I say, it just adds to the primitive look of it when you skip. I know that a lot of you have liked that distressed look. I love the distressed look, and a lot of what I do, you'll see that I distress it. And if I can paint it and make it look distressed and skip the step of having to distress it later, then that's even better. It's a time saver, and with this white ornament, it really works well to give it the distressed look. Okay, so I cut out the blow drying on this one because there was just no point in showing that. Okay, here I have black and kind of a burnt orange, and actually that's the only colors that I use here. I do use the white, but other than the white, just black and burnt orange. I take orange and just add a little bit of brown to it, because there's really no point in buying a lot of those colors that you're really not going to use much when you can mix them. And I just don't like the bright orange, so I just add a little bit of brown to it so that it's more of a primitive look. So here I'm just finishing up my circle eyes. And again, this is a really simple face to do. I'm adding some eyebrows here, because just a little bit of eyebrow, you can shape them how you want. I usually just almost straight, just very little bit of a curve. Now here I'm just drawing a little face, a little mouth. Some people like to do this little mouth like this, and then some people like to do the little lines. You can Google snowman faces, and there's a number of little faces that you can do. I think the little lines, the little dotted lines, is a little bit more of a primitive look, but on this one I'm going for cute. So here I'm just drawing the shape of a carrot for the nose. You could make it more simple. I'm giving it a little bit of a wave to make it look a little bit more realistic, but you could easily just do a little triangle shape. Like I said, snowman faces, they're real versatile, so it's hard to get this wrong. So here I'm finishing up the little nose, and she's already starting to look like a little snowman. So here is the I'm adding the little twinkle in the eyes with the white. I'm gonna also do a little highlight on the nose, across the top of the nose, like I did with our gingerbread. So there, you see, that makes a really cute little snowman face. I don't add rosy cheeks on mine, but you definitely could do that. Here I'm adding just a couple little curved lashes on the outside. I stop at just a couple because I find that when I keep trying to add lashes, it starts to look, I just don't like the look. But if you add just a couple little lashes on the end, it gives her more of a girly look. And there is our snowman face. So now we are going to, I'm trimming up the little frayed edge here. And by the way, these ornaments are really cute when you fray the edges. But I like for it to be frayed more evenly. But you can just take your little finger or your fingernail and just kind of rub it across the edges if you want it to be more frayed. Okay, so here I'm using a tea towel. I buy my tea towels from either Walmart or from Dollar Tree. Now there was a mistake that I made, and I left that in there because with these tea towels, if you try to rip them too thin, you just don't have enough thread there, and it'll pull apart. So I had to go a little thicker, and here I'm cutting it in half because I still wanted to go thinner. I just like that thinner look, and I managed to tear it there. Okay, so this is the tea towel. Also, the first one that I showed you, I used coffee to stain. I just dipped it in coffee, my leftover coffee, and then I just wrung it out and dried it. But this white tea towel, I didn't do that. But on this particular bow, I wanted both the coffee stained and just the regular white. Sorry, I'm out of frame here. All I'm doing is just taking different fabrics and ripping them. This is just a little. This is a little cotton fabric. It's really lightweight, and it's printed on both sides. And that is important with this when you're ripping fabric like this and using it for bows. It's much better if it is printed on both sides. So here I'm taking a little piece of jute, because I'm going to use that to tie these strips that I'm cutting together. Now I'm measuring how long I want my strips here, and then I'm just going to cut up a bunch of strips. With this one I want the I'm going to be using this red striped fabric, and then I'm going to be using both colors of tea towel, and then I think I add some lace in this, and I buy my lace at the Dollar Tree, or this particular lace I buy at the Dollar Tree. So here again, everything I'm using is very inexpensive. This is that lace that I buy at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just cutting up a bunch of strips. These bows can be used for so many things, and they're so simple to make and fun to blend colors. And like I said, and this is a thinner lace, it looks like here, that I'm using. You can use virtually anything. I would suggest that it wouldn't be too heavy of a fabric, because it could get pretty bulky when you go to tie it together, and the look just wouldn't be as good. I think this is that unstained tea towel here that I'm cutting up. And there's, I think that's the stained. So you just cut up a bunch of fabrics, just any kind, for these bows that is lightweight. Okay, so here I am just placing these in almost like a crisscross position, and you're just going to layer them. Just layer one after another until you think you have enough. A lot of times with these bows, you have to use a lot of strips. With this one, for what we're using it for, you don't really have to use that many. And here I'm just speeding up the video for you to show you how easy it is to just. Okay, so there I'm tying it together, and that's really all there is to these bows. I trim off the excess, and sometimes there'll be a little strip of fabric that's sticking out a little too much, but you really want that uneven look. It just makes the bow look shabbier. And in this case, you could glue a little button in the center of it, or some people like to add a little bling. I'm not a blingy person, so I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to keep her natural, and there she is, complete. And there are both our ornaments, the little snowman and the little gingerbread. And I think they were very easy to make.